Hello and welcome back to another one of my videos. It's Leanne here, and today we are making these resin unicorn Christmas tree ornaments. As you can see, my tree is pastel themed, unicorn and sparkly, so I made this specifically for this tree but decided to share the project with you. Now I'm using polymer clay that I got cheaply from eBay, a set of 36 colours for around £6.50 posted. I've just taken the bright pink and a white and mixed them together to make a baby pink. Now I'm going to roll out my clay, and using some of this bright pink glitter that I got from B&M in a pack of 12, I'm just going to sprinkle some on and put a little glitter on my mat there that I want to incorporate into my clay. I'm going to fold it over and roll it, fold and roll, and keep folding and rolling, adding glitter until it is completely combined. You can use your clay to pick up all the stray glitter that is all over your desk. Just keep rolling and folding until it's completely infused into your clay and it will be perfect. Once I have infused the glitter into my clay though, I do leave it aside for a little while to cool down, but for some reason I didn't leave it very long. Okay, so the next stage is I put it on a little glass piece here. This is just a piece of glass from an old picture frame, and using 2 lollipop sticks I roll out my clay to an even thickness. As you can see, it is nice and sparkly, so that glitter did its job. And I'm using an old resin piece that I made as a template to draw around the heart because I don't have any heart cutters. But feel free to use any shape that you desire to make your Christmas ornaments. I'm cutting out 2 here, but off camera after I do these 2 I did go and cut out a 3rd one with the remaining clay. I'm just cutting around them a little bit more firmly. I'm just removing the excess clay. Now this is where my clay was still a little bit warm, so when I was lifting the clay off of the glass mat, some of it was sticking, and that's just purely because I had overworked my clay to the point it was really warm and I hadn't let it sit long enough. If you let your clay sit and cool down, it shouldn't stick the way mine has, and I had to do a lot of cleanup with my X-Acto knife just to remove all that excess clay that had stuck to my glass. Just cleaning it all up here, trimming around my shape, just making it a little bit perfect. The neater and cleaner your edges are now, the less sanding you'll have to do once it's baked. So just spend a little time like I am, making it a nice shape, making it all nice and smooth, using your fingers to round the edges down so they're a little more domed than straight cuts. It just looks a little better. Okay, so once I've done that and tidied up my heart, I took a rubber stamp of a snowflake. This is the back of the piece, so you don't really need to do this, but I just wanted to add a little Christmas influence, seeing as these are going to be tree decorations. And because I had them so close together and it was a big stamp, it did sort of overlap, but like I said, it's the back, so it doesn't really matter. Once I've got them nice and smooth, how I want them, it's time to go and bake them in my oven. And always follow the instructions of your clay for the baking. I'm going to take a buffing sanding block here and just sand off the really shiny side that happened when it was baked face down on glass. You want this side really matte and smooth, and you want to remove any dirt or dust because this is the side that you're going to see when your decoration is made. Just sand down your edges, then give it all a wipe over with a semi-dry baby wipe or cloth just to get rid of that excess dust. Make a nice smooth surface. Okay, this little mat here is actually just a heat-proof mat. I just felt it was easier to work on rather than the glass because it was really shining back with that light. Okay, now I am going through my vast sticker collection for anything unicorn themed or the little star stickers that you see there, anything that I want to put on my decorations. Now I could have went down the route of drawing and painting on the clay. Acrylic paint sticks really well to polymer clay. I wanted something quick and cute and them all be the same design so they were coherent as a little set, and I opted for stickers. Now lots of stickers work with resin, but if you use paper stickers, make sure you seal your paper stickers with something like Mod Podge first, because they will absorb the resin and discolour. I'm using vinyl or plastic stickers here, so these are all perfectly fine in sticker, and puffy stickers like the little unicorns I end up using, they're okay in resin as long as you're adhering them to a surface like this clay backing. If you put them in resin in a mould, they tend to separate and float, and I've had some disasters with puffy stickers, but I've found that as long as you're adhering them to a surface like a bezel or a clay, I've never had problems with puffy stickers. Okay, so I opted for these little cute ones here. These are one of my favourite sets. I have quite a few sets of stickers of unicorns because it's something people always buy me and gift me. I'm picking out a colour from the unicorn sticker for each piece and just applying little stars to match that one unicorn. And then I'm going to stick my unicorn sticker in the middle. Now make sure you really adhere your stickers well to the clay. Once you've positioned them, rub over them with your fingers, pressing them in really well, because you don't want these to lift when you are doming with your resin. I'm doing all three just with 3 little stars and then a unicorn sticker in the middle. Sometimes less is more, and then sometimes it's something I've made. I tried to go for stickers that were all similar in size rather than picking some of the head ones or one of the smaller ones, because I wanted this to look coherent as a set, and keeping them all the same size just gave them a little bit of symmetry. If you can hear anything pinging in the background, my craft room is just off of my kitchen and my daughter is microwaving herself a healthy meal. So ignore the pings, it's food on the go. Okay, so I've got my stickers here and they're all pushed down well. I decided that was not enough sparkle for me, even though my clay is sparkly. It's very subtle and I wanted something a bit more in your face. So I take some nail varnish, and I don't currently have any clear nail varnish, so I opted for the glitter nail varnish, which is clear with glitter in it. Not that it makes a difference, because you know I love glitter, the more glitter the better. And I started off by putting it on my little mat with the intention of using this metal tool to just put a little dot on and then adhere some of the white iridescent chunky glitter to the top. But my nail varnish is actually getting really sort of gloopy because I've had it a long time and I use it for everything. So I ended up just using the brush and splodging some of that glitter on. I mean, like I said, you can never have too much glitter. And then using a wax tool that's meant for picking up rhinestones and dumping it in that little tub and just applying some of the iridescent glitter straight on top of the nail varnish when it was still wet. And just being quite random with it, not trying to be too neat. And just adding some sparkling shine. As long as you go for a really subtle colour, like I've done, it won't overpower the piece. The unicorn will still be the focus. Now leave that to completely dry, because you want your nail varnish to be completely cured, and then move on to mixing your resin. I use epoxy resin, which is a 2-part resin. It's a 50-50 mix, and one part is a little bit thicker and one part is a little bit thinner, and because it's Scotland, my resin gets quite thick and gloopy. And I preheat my part A in a microwave for about 7 seconds until it is the heat of a cup of coffee, and then I'll add my part B, which is unheated. Not only will it cool down part A, but mixing the hot and the cold together, it disperses all the bubbles because it makes the resin far more watery, more fluid, and it gets rid of all my bubbles for me, and then I can dome my piece without any bubbles. Now another thing I like about preheating my resin is it cuts down your working time. So when you preheat your resin, instead of having that 40-minute window before your resin starts to gel up and get thick, it cuts it down to about 15-20 minutes at the most, depending on how hot you've made your resin. think this was quite warm, this resin. I cut it down to like 10 minutes. So I just drip on the resin, which practically no bubbles, and the very few bubbles that are left just rise to the surface really quickly, and I can get rid of by taking a lighter over my piece. I just drip on the drips around the edge, move them to the edge of my piece and then fill in the middle, and then just keep dripping resin on until I've got the desired height of a dome. And this is like my foolproof way of doming. I've never had anything pour off the edge too drastically when I do it this way. Start thin, sort of get to the edges of your shape and then fill it in. It works pretty well. Okay, so this is then domed, and now I need to leave them overnight to cure. And with the power of video, here we are the next again morning, and they are nice and cured and ready to be turned into decorations. So I'm using some of these little gold eye screws that I had left over from a Sophie and Toffee box. Just decided gold was the colour that I was going for today. And these are quite small, dainty eye screws, so I don't really need to drill any holes in the clay. They are quite thin in themselves, so that just chucked out some of my relief paste there, which is actually liner for doing like glass art, but it's such an amazing strong glue that I use it for everything. I'm putting my eye screw just into the clay part, not the resin, because the clay is soft enough that you can actually screw into. Getting it down about halfway, then adding a blob of that glue and screwing it down the rest of the way. This glue dries completely clear and honestly is unbelievably strong. I have glued gemstones to Hessian bags and they've never come off. Once I have done all three, I leave them to dry for a little while, maybe about half an hour to an hour, before I come back to start adding my ribbon. Okay, this is just thin satin gold ribbon. I'm not even sure of the width. I think it's maybe 4mm width gold ribbon. I just cut myself a decent length. Fold the ribbon in half to push through the eye screw. Now I singed the edge of my ribbon with a lighter before I did this and found that made it harder to get through the eye screw. So if you push it through your eye screw before singeing the ends of your ribbon, it goes through a heck of a lot easier. Pull your two ends to meet so they're the same length. Then about halfway down, you want to use both pieces of the ribbon to tie a little knot. Pull it tight and then tie a bow right at that knot. Then you're going to pull your bow down to where the eye screw is, like so. Going to put a little dot of glue. I'm using just some tacky glue right against the eye screw and pull the bow right down there, and what that's going to do is secure it right to the eye screw and stop the ribbon from untying. Just snip your ends to the desired length and then singe your ribbon, and what that does is stops it from fraying, so your ribbon will be there forever. And then I'm going to fold the tip of the ribbon in half and push it through a little acrylic bead. I actually stole these beads from my children because I didn't have any beads with a hole big enough to push ribbon through. But if I was going to make these again, I would probably buy some really sparkly, cute matching beads that fit ribbon through them. So I'm just going to do the second one to show you that again without burning the end of the ribbon this time. Fold your ribbon in half, push it through the eye screw, bring both ends together. Then halfway down, tie a little knot, pull it tight, tie yourself a little bow like you're tying your shoes, pull that tight, snip off the edges to the desired length, singe the edge so that they do not unravel and fray, pull the bow down to the decoration, dab of glue, and there we go, that's secure. Fold your ribbon in half, push through a bead, pull that down to where the bow is, and you're done. And that's how you make a decoration from resin and clay. And they are kind of cute. And this is my craft room tree, as you can see, and the reason it is up this early in November is actually I had to buy a new tree and the decorations had to be sorted out to see what I was keeping and what I was donating to my friend. So I had to assemble the tree to see what I was keeping, and well, it's now just going to stay up. My main tree will be going up in December, so I'm not that weird, but this is my craft room tree. And I'm really happy with how the decorations turned out. They're really cute. Now if you tune in for the next video, we're actually going to be using this design. I have a free download that goes with the next video, and we're going to be making a card, tag and gift set using this. This is something I've designed. So make sure you tune in for the next video in a couple of days where we will be using this to make something awesome. See you in the next video. Bye. Next video. Bye.